Hello, I'm Shelly. I'm the author of Outreach. Let me tell you a bit about myself. I was born in the North East and grew up in Nottinghamshire, and I've lived in London since 2001. I've worked with people with a range of different support needs throughout my career, and now I work as a counsellor. And in my own time, as well as the usual, socialising, cooking, eating and drinking, I also enjoy writing and making art and craft. So Outreach is a novel about a young woman called Emily who is a support worker, and she works with people who misuse drugs and alcohol. Emily is estranged from her father, who also works in the sector, and she lost her mum when she was very young, and she hopes that taking this path in her career will get her closer to her father. But things don't really turn out as she hoped, and she does find her new job really challenging and really struggles to make new friends and get on with her colleagues down in London. But the one person who does accept Emily is her boss, David. So whilst Outreach is very much informed by my work in the public sector, it really came from my wondering what would happen if you developed a crush on your boss and rather than letting it go, you decided to pursue it. So rather than having full writing days, I tend to have writing sort of periods, if you like, usually about 2 hours. There's normally a refreshment involved, a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or if it's later, maybe a glass of wine. And depending where I am in the writing process, kind of depends what that period of time looks like. For example, if I'm planning, it usually involves paper, spidergrams, flowgrams, post-it notes whilst I try and construct my stories, and also get an idea of my different characters and the locations where the stories are set. If I'm writing, I do tend to write directly onto my laptop, and I usually start those sessions by reading what I've just written before and then sort of carrying on with the story. If I'm editing, what I tend to do is print out what I've written and go through it with a pen. I just find that a much easier way to go about in the editing process. So one thing I've learned from the publishing process is that you need to believe in yourself and you need to have a thick skin. I've also learned that you do need to embrace marketing, and I think it's something that doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. It hasn't come naturally to me, but it is a really important part of being a published author. Another thing that I have learned though is that some of those opportunities to market your book aren't necessarily all bad, and some of them can be quite good fun. For example, I've been on the radio a few times, I've done a workshop, I've done some talks, and I've actually quite enjoyed some of them, and they've opened up new opportunities for me as well. So at the moment I'm working on editing a video of a talk that I did in Walthamstow at the end of last year, which I'm hoping to put online. And I'm also trying to arrange an event in a bookshop in Camden, which is where the novel Outreach is set. In terms of writing, I'm currently working on what started out as a series of short stories, which I'm bringing together into a full-length novel. And these stories are about the lives of a number of different characters over the last 40 years. And the stories explore their difficulties and also how their lives entwine and affect each other as well. I'm close to finishing the first edit of these stories, so I'm looking forward to the next month or so printing them out and starting to give them a bit of a polish and to start the editing process.